What's up? What's up? What's up?
Salute.
Salute.
February, Black History Month.
Mm-hmm. Yippee.
Ooh.
Get you right here.
Yes.
What's up, y'all?
Shit.
What's that?
Happy Hump Day.
Oh, it is Hump Day.
Yes, it
It
is.
is Hump Day.
Shit. Y'all got over the hump?
She out front. I think she watching.
Depends on what time this pod ends.
Well.
Gotta keep it real.
True. Ooh.
Hey, Sam.
Oh shit! I gotta share.
I
gotta share the goddamn pod.
There she is.
Miss America.
Go, Sam. So what's up, Trey? How your week been?
It's been pretty good. Pretty good. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are my weekends. So going back to work tomorrow.
Oh man, so you work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I have. Hold on, because I've worked customer service for 20 plus years now, and for the first time in my life, I actually work somewhere that I enjoy working.
Okay.
I am doing customer service, but
Murph said, "Damn, those jobs exist."
Yeah, no.
Hey.
It only took me 20 years to find one. But no, I work managing the shop portion of a tattoo parlor.
Oh, okay.
So as customers come in with their ideas and what they'd like to see happen, I'm the one that sits behind the desk and jumps on the computer, finds images, and builds a stencil for them, and helps them realize what they're wanting on them. So I get a piece of being able to help people do that.
That's dope. So you have to be able to draw to do that?
Thankfully, no, because I will mess up a stick man. He'll have scoliosis, a wavy arm, and an oval head if I have to draw. So,
that is not the tattoo I came in here for, sir. I need a manager.
Exactly.
Give me a manager.
So there's 3 artists in the shop that I work in, but all I do is I put the stencil, I put the components of the tattoo together on Photoshop and I layer them correctly. And I do the editing and put in whatever font or words they want in there. And I print out the stencil, size it for them. I do all the estimates. But I mean, I get to joke with people and interact with people the whole time I'm there. And I really enjoy getting to do that with people. Because, I mean, I like to look at it as I'm putting in 2% of the total 100% of a piece of art that somebody's going to carry with them the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm. That's the point. That's where it starts.
Yeah, so I enjoy it.
That's what's up. I sell clean urine for a living.
Okay.
That's major. That's major bank right there.
I drink so much water. I should sell. That's a joke. It's a joke, y'all. But I really.
No, it's not.
Somebody was like, "No, you really should do that." I was like, "How the hell?"
It's not a joke, y'all.
How would I successfully and do that? You know, keeping sanitary procedures in order. Because
if there are women who can market and sell successfully their bath water
or their breast milk,
that's another one.
Women,
at least that's hygienic and has a purpose.
I would never do that. You would not see me drinking nobody else's breast milk or feeding it to my baby. That's ridiculous.
No,
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Hey, whatever, it can be their yum, but that's a yuck from me, dog.
But they make bad money though. Like if you Google, I just random Google stuff, right? How much do women make selling their breast milk? They make like a lot.
We need a whole podcast of nothing but your search history.
Right.
Listen.
Y'all can't have mine. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, mine is 13,000 a month. Women makes more than 13,000 a month selling her breast milk. Damn. Right.
13,000 a month selling breast milk?
Yes, selling breast milk. Growing. It says growing sales of breast milk during the pandemic.
Hey, baby.
Damn. I need to get pregnant.
Hey, baby.
Fuck. That's what the fuck? Yo, let me tell you. Hey, I'm about to say something, right? Before we get in the positive light, I want to say something real ratchet. If you're a fucking woman, you should never be broke. And you should never go without. I just found out you can sell breast milk for $13,000 a month.
Yes.
Listen, look, oh my God.
That is a legitimate business.
Merv.
Hey, listen, hold on. Let me get this ratchet shit out before we go positive. If you're a woman, if you can sell breast milk, you can sell breast milk up to $13,000 a month, and you can sell pussy. You should never go without anything if you're a fucking woman.
Hold up a second. Merv, hold up a second. That's just milk. Do you know eggs go for $9,000 a piece?
What?
Eggs?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can sell
viable eggs. Yes. $9,000 a piece.
And you can carry a baby for someone.
Yes, you can. They make 20 to 25, 30,000 depending on who it is, and if it's a celebrity, you could charge even more.
Holy shit!
Whoever had Kim K's baby, I'm sure got paid buku money.
Still getting paid.
Because part of that will include an NDA. So if you want me to shut up about carrying your baby, you got to pay me 60 G's.
Still getting paid.
60K, please. Yep. Thank you.
They pull in at least 15K a month on that one. Just to keep their mouth quiet.
They're paying for all medical bills. They're paying for sometimes housing, depending on if the person that you really, really want doesn't live close by, or you want to just, watch them. Because a lot of that is bonding. Like, y'all know Candy Burris, right? From Escape. Yeah. She had a surrogate also. She chose a surrogate local so that she can go and rub the baby. Her and Todd will go rub the baby, talk to the baby. They went to every single doctor's visits with the surrogate. So that way the baby can get used to their energy, their voices, and things like that. So when she gave birth to the baby wouldn't be foreign to them, right? Yeah. And the woman that had Candy Burris's baby now is a consultant for other surrogates. Yes. And she's made a Candy, because Candy's all about her money. Mm-hmm. She has promoted. She's like, I'm not trying to sell my surrogate to y'all because she's mine, but she has a legitimate business, and now she consults women about how to properly eat, exercise, and make their bodies right in case they want to be somebody's surrogate. What to do, what to not do. Yes. So yes, ladies.
What'd you say, Merv? Should never be broke.
Never. God,
but men can do it too. Men can sell. Now, I don't know how much y'all make from selling y'all sperm, but it's not as much as we make. But still,
y'all can make money too.
Wait, we can sell our sperm?
It's just like being in a bar.
Yeah.
How much the market is flooded, and therefore the price is down.
Judy pregnant. She's a lesbian. Somebody got her pregnant with a sperm. I'm sure they went to a sperm bank, and you could get paid for that.
Shit, yeah, but like I said, the market is flooded. Therefore, the price has gone down.
So it's saturated.
Exactly. It's like $50 to $100 if you are selected.
And I give you even more discount if you let me just donate naturally.
Listen, there are body parts that we have. Look, he is shaking his head. This is a weird conversation, but anyway, there are body parts that you can sell that you are able to live without having.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
You could be a donor. You could not sell it like like cash at me, and I'll give you my kidney.
I'm not selling anything that doesn't automatically reproduce. I'll sell sperm. I'll sell pee and saliva.
What would somebody do with your saliva, Merv? I'm scared to
Well,
ask.
I'm just saying I can reproduce that, so I'll sell that to you.
Look, don't nobody want anything to do with my internal organs except for a scientist.
Here you go, Merv. You can sell it as a natural lubricant. There we go.
As a natural lubricant.
You can sell your body to a corpse farm.
What? I'm dead.
You can sell your saliva as natural lubricant, water-based. I don't know.
True.
If you look up corpse farms, you can actually sell your body before your death, Merv. You can sell your body to them. They give you the money ahead of time, and your body gets turned over to them after your demise.
Can the person have like a funeral first and have an official, all of that, so for the family before the body gets donated?
Not with the body present, because the body doesn't belong to the family.
Oh. Wow. Well, I do know that you could pay for your funeral while you're still alive. I do know that.
Exactly.
I know that too.
Because
what are you talking
my mother
about?
does. My mother actually does that. And when she told me about it, I was slightly like, why are you telling me this? Like, second, why are you even thinking about this? But I understood once we started talking about it, I understood why. She was like, I don't want y'all to go broke burying me. So I'm going to set this money aside now. And I'm like, well, why are you thinking about you dying? But then again, you never know. So, but yes, you can. So there are many, many other ways to get money besides PPP loans and selling your ass and Pornhub and OnlyFans. You can do all of this while you're alive.
Anybody watching, you want to go Fansly, you don't want to go OnlyFans. Fansly only takes half the percentage that OnlyFans does. Don't ask me. This is not up for discussion. You know? This is not up for discussion or consideration. Thank you.
Oh, you probably did a Google search, right?
Yeah,
I might know some folk. That's all I'm saying.
Is OnlyFans owned by black people?
No.
Okay, we ain't talk about them no more rest of the night.
But isn't what's the other website? Not Pornhub, the other one. Oh man, I forgot what it used to originally be fight videos a lot.
World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop. Isn't that black owned?
Yes, it is.
Aha.
They ain't black excellence though.
They got an
ratchet. It's ratchet as hell.
That's not black excellence.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Go to the website. Hey. Go to the ebony section, and you never know what you can find.
Look, World Star takes the worst of the community,
right,
and tries to reinvest the money it makes off the worst of the community to try to make the community better. They are a music label. The funniest thing I've ever seen is a gospel album produced and released by World Star Hip Hop.
Not the Snoop Dogg one?
The hell?
Yeah. The gospel album.
But
before Ye.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect a gospel album to come off Death Row Records either.
Well, I mean, when you die, you want to go to heaven, so I see the connection.
Yeah.
Suge don't want nothing to do with heaven. He wanted to do with dollar bills.
And they say all dogs go to heaven.
They sure do.
Yeah, now that it belongs to Snoop again.
That's dope though. That is dope that he does have that. I think that is a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Right. The record label that signed him, put him on, then decades later, he ended up being the owner of that's black excellence.
That is black
excellence. We can talk about that. That's black excellence.
And if any of the financial rumors are true, with him acquiring Death Row Records, he also got a lot of the firsts from those albums back and the rights to them.
Like the masters?
Yes.
Nice.
So if the rumors are to be are true, but yeah, there are quite a few of the copyrights that he now owns to a lot of Death Row's earlier music.
Okay.
Interesting.
You bought Death Row just to get some of that chronic back.
Yeah, both.
But
Literally and figuratively.
Right. But
So
what we doing tonight, Merv? What you got on the timeline? What we dealing with?
Yo, so we're gonna talk about Black history and Black excellence. We already talked about a little about Black excellence with Snoop Dogg buying Death Row Records. But we're gonna go back to the we're gonna go back in time a little bit. Just gonna hit y'all. We're gonna start with timelines. Some of the timelines might strike a nerve. We want to curse a motherfucker out. Some of it's going to want to speak on. Do me a favor, Becca. Pull out your Google, because some of this stuff is you're not gonna remember everything. You may want to hit the quick Google real quick.
I got you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
They don't need Google. He got everything. He got everything in his goddamn brain. That motherfucker don't need. He don't need shit.
Y'all been talking to Hyson, huh? Yeah. He used to hate our conversations sometimes, but yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start. All right, Black History milestones timeline. All right, so start and just American. All right, before somebody come in and talking about it's more. We're talking about American Black
we
history
were kings and queens in Africa.
America. God damn it. So slavery comes to North America all the way back to 1619. That's what that? How many years?
A lot of years ago.
Huh?
A lot of years ago.
Yeah, a lot of years ago. Because we're 2022 right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? 403? Is that?
Yeah,
that's
the count I got on it.
Yeah, 400. So 403 years ago, yo, that's when
I got to carry the one.
Yeah, that's when we came over here. That's when Black people was brought over here and slavery started. 403 years ago, y'all.
3 years ago. So we're not that old.
Yeah.
We're not that old over here.
Nah, hell no. In 18, well, she's a little bit out of 1793. That was a rise of the cotton industry.
That I think should fall under Black excellence.
Huh?
I think the rise of the cotton industry. First of all, it was the rise of the cotton industry was predicated on the backs of Black slaves. The rise of the cotton industry as being the first, we'll say, major industrial industry in the United States is also because of a Black man.
Oh, well,
the cotton gin.
Right. Right.
So the fact that it was predicated through American Black slavery, and it took an American Black slave to take the entire United States, and in my personal opinion, that was one of the first seeds sown to make the United States a world power, because we were actually ahead of everybody else because of the invention of a Black slave. We ended up being the top of the heap as far as cotton production, being able to get it out faster, being able to grow it faster, seed it faster, being able to actually turn it into a material that the textile industry could use. Had it not been for slavery, had it not been for Eli Whitney's invention, and the fact that because a Black slave created it then became, instead of being profited off of and limited, it was how to make one, what was the necessary means to make one, became public knowledge in America. There was no patent to deal with it. because the patent belonged to his owner, not him.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
So I think that was one of the first seeds sown that created the superpower that America became eventually.
Gotcha.
And people still pick cotton as a job, whites and blacks.
True.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to our next timeline that we have.
Good question. If you are a black person right now and your job was picking cotton, how would you explain that to somebody?
I have no fucking idea.
I think there's a bunch of rights and lefts that would get used to stop any jokes.
I get it.
Right.
I've always thought about that. Like we do have a bad history with picking cotton, but it is still a necessary thing, right? And people still do it. And I'm sure there's black people right now that pick cotton as their job.
And see that I truly see that as being a national issue, because that was because of the leaps and bounds that the United States took in the cotton industry. I can see why that's a central joke, but cotton picking is not so bad. It's just as bad as it is everywhere else, but you could catch a whole bunch of lefts and rights in South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. If you talk about sending somebody out to pick tobacco, because that was the big crop in those areas.
Okay,
and they feel more offended by being told or having jokes cracked about them picking tobacco than they picking and processing tobacco than they do about cotton. Right. I actually found that out when I was 13, living in North Carolina. It was one of the weirdest conversations I'd ever been in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's go ahead with to the next timeline that we have in a Black History timeline in America is 1831. Nat Turner's Revolt, August 1831. I think they got a movie about this, right?
They do.
Yes.
And it was very hard to see. I walked out of the theater watching this movie.
Okay.
Wasn't that Mississippi Burning?
No, it's not Mississippi Burning. It's the guy that made American.
He was in a great debate. He was in a great debate also.
Yeah, he's also the guy that produced what's the American Skin shit. The one that Spike Lee helped produce.
His name is Nate Parker.
Yeah, Nate Parker. Yeah, he produced the movie.
The Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. Yeah. Yeah,
so
that movie was tough to see. I couldn't
based
watch
on Nat Turner's Revolt, August 1831. Also, abolitionism and the Underground Railroad was established in 1831 as well. All right. In 1857, there was a Dred Scott case, March 6, 1857. So what that was, Dred Scott ended up making to up north, and he was on free land. So they end up sending somebody to catch him, bring him back, and he tried to sue, saying that he's on free land now. He's been on free land, touched free land, so he's no longer a slave. And in that court case, he lost it. They were saying, well, he was considered a property, so property don't have rights, so you're not able to sue. That's what the Dred Scott case was.
He was trying to get freedom for him, his wife, and his two daughters, and he lost that case.
Yeah. All right. In 1861, Civil War and Emancipation in 1861.
Civil War and Emancipation, I think one of the big hits that we take in the Civil War and Emancipation is Lincoln's decision to free the slaves was more of a political and a war tactic. I think the fact that a lot of people look at it as, Lincoln was trying to do the right thing. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, like he really cared about us.
It was psychological warfare. It was psychological warfare at its best.
Yeah,
as far as we're concerned, everybody that you have with you is now a potential ally to us, because we are going to free them from their bonds, and we are going to let them stay where they are.
Yeah, it started. The original reason for the Civil War was because the Southern states wanted to succeed, and Lincoln wanted to keep everything. He didn't like the fact that them breaking up the nation. So the main thing he wanted was to keep everybody together. But it was just the fact that the slavery was not being let go and kept being an issue.
Now, I'm going to say something, and I know that both of y'all are going to want to smack the shit out of me.
No.
But I'm going to say it, and I'm going to explain myself.
I'm progressive.
Since when?
Any of these idiots that sit there and tell you that the Civil War was over states' rights, you are absolutely 100% correct. However, the states' rights that they were fighting for was to not be taxed on any materials or textiles that were being produced in the South and moved above the Mason-Dixon line and being sold, because they were against the tax, because the tax leveled the playing field. You see, creation of textiles, creation of crops, and creation of materials is a lot easier when you have a 0% balance as far as labor is concerned. The tax that was being levied by the northern states against the southern states were equal to that of what they would have paid had they were actually paying the slaves any kind of living wage or anything to that effect. So yes, in essence, people who sit there and say the Civil War was over slaves' rights or was over states' rights, technically they're correct, but it was over the states' rights to not pay their workforce, ergo over slavery. And that has always been a point of contention as far as the Civil War is concerned. But
yeah, no, that's correct. You give, you still give. So let Lincoln get credit because the fact that he actually went through with it.
True. Against his cabinet's recommendations.
Yeah, you say against his staff recommendations, right?
Against his staff and his command, correct. His military command's recommendations.
Correct. All right, so let's carry on. Let's see, which one is this? Oh, think that. Hold up. That was two. Hold up. All right, so we had the post-slavery South in 1865. That's after what we just talked about, the emancipation, right?
Yeah.
Then after that, it was the separate but equal.
Brown versus Board of Topeka
in 1896.
Separate but equal.
Yeah. And what is
Washington Carver and Du Bois in 1900?
Yeah, that's.
Did they start the? They started the NAACP in what was it?
Right here,
one of the first centers for Black excellence.
Yeah, and that it was officially founded in 1909, but it started. The brainstorm started right here with Washington Carver and Du Bois. Became official. NAACP became official in 1909.
That's when they started founding historic or HBCUs.
Okay. Then in 1916, Marcus Garvey, and the UNIA. Marcus Garvey, I think he was born in Jamaica, right? He came.
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm over here Googling. The first, It looks like the first HBCU was established Wilberforce, 1856.
Ah, nice.
Isn't that where Obama went?
the first recognized HBCUs were.
It says, first owned and operated HBCU
Yeah, she
Wilberforce
said Wilberforce.
was in Ohio, was founded Cincinnati Conference of the Methodist Episcopal Church and AME. Provides classical education.
So Wilberforce was the first official HBCU?
That's what it says. 1856, the first Black-owned and operated HBCU, which is Wilberforce.
All right, cool.
I think 1909 was the first education centers for Blacks. I remember something about George Washington Carver being establishing the first education centers. It might not have been HBCUs, but I do remember that following either shortly before or shortly after the formation in NAACP.
Yeah, because there's a couple things here. They had Black establishments already. Like they had, like, I'm looking at Cheney University in Pennsylvania. There was also Thurgood Marshall. So there's also different like things that Shaw University I'm looking at as well. But I think there was a time when they was first established. I guess worldwide, and that's what it's showing right now.
All right, so let's keep going. Marcus Garvey came to America, 1916, and his philosophy or ideology, however you want to call it, was for Blacks to go back to Africa and get reestablished over there. That was Marcus Garvey. That's what he was preaching very hard. That was what he was advocating. All right, 1920 we had the Harlem Renaissance.
Birth and the buildup of jazz.
Right.
Yep.
So
right, as you see in the picture.
A lot of that, I have had the fortunate opportunity to actually get to see a lot of that, a lot of the physical remnants of that in Kansas City, the Kansas City Jazz and the Negro League museums up there, the Jazz Foundation for the Jazz Foundation, which, as far as I'm concerned, that is Black history, is also in Kansas City at 18th and Vine. And you want to talk about amazing shows that they still have a bar front that does live shows, and they do the Blues and Jazz Festival in Kansas City yearly because of it. And just the amount of, and I think probably one of the things that I wanted to say about tonight, there's a lot of great and wonderful moments in Black history and Black excellence that have been mentioned. But one thing that hasn't been brought up is the fact that I think one of the strengths within Black history is the fact that it has never primarily been written. It has always been expressed through song, through music, and it's always been, from its very roots, it was word of mouth passed on from generation to generation. And the Harlem Renaissance, I think, was the first time that I think 1920 in the rise of the Harlem Renaissance was the first time that music, that history, that was shared nationwide for the entire American Black community. Because until that point, it had been segregated pockets where we were allowed to express our history, our way of life, and our, for the lack of a better way.
It was caged.
Yes,
it was like a caged bird until the Harlem Renaissance came.
Yes, the Harlem Renaissance was the first time that we actually got to express our ethnicity nationwide, and we got to unite under that.
Yep. All right. So the next thing on the timeline, hold up. All right. So African Americans was in the World War II in 1941. In 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first Black player for a major league sport,
and we ain't looked back since.
Nope. Nope.
You can look at every record the MLB has. At this point, they all written in black and white. Every single record.
All right, let's see. Keep going. Brown versus Board of Education happened on May 17th, 1954.
I don't know if they still do, but Topeka used to celebrate this every year. This was
really?
actually a state holiday in Kansas. All schools got out for it.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm name the people in the picture because they was vital to the Board of Education. From the results from it were Vicki Henderson, Donna Henderson, Linda Brown, James Emanuel, Nancy Todd, and Catherine Carper.
And that was originally based off of because the major argument that destroyed the separate but equal movement was separate was not equal when Ms. Brown had to walk past 3 different white schools just to get to hers. She had to actually go through some dangerous area, had to cross over the railroad tracks. That was I remember the railroad tracks being a major argument in that she actually had to cross railroad tracks that led into the railroad transit center on the, I think it was the east side of Topeka. But she actually had to cross 8 or 9 different sets of tracks, at times dodging trains to get to school.
Damn. All right, let's.
Do y'all think that we have people in our area, in our era, that could have done some of this stuff? Do we have somebody right now that would have been able to have, like, do we have a Harriet Tubman right now? Like, do we have somebody that will cross these 8 tracks to
not
school?
in my opinion.
I'm gonna say yes.
We do? Then we're
I'm gonna say yes, and this is why I say yes, Merv. They didn't think that they had a Harriet Tubman then.
That's
All
true.
Right, so, okay, let me tell you why I said no. Maybe we got someone that we got today's Brown versus Board of Education, as far as like standing up and going to the law or trying to use the courts. But when you say Harriet Tubman, I was only focused. I only thought about Harriet Tubman, and the things that Harriet Tubman did. I don't see us having someone like what Harriet Tubman did specifically today, because she made it out. But one thing she could think about is everybody she left behind. So she made it out and she reached back. She kept reaching back to get others, even though it risked her life. And it seems like the more we evolve, the more selfish we have become. The more successful we've become, the more selfish we have become overall, dynamically as a people.
I think with all of the protests that we've seen in the last 2 years, I think with all of the movement and at times violent progress that we are trying to make now, I think that defeats the argument that we're too selfish at this point. I think in the last 2 to 3 years, we've realized that we put up with a lot more because we kept getting fed equity instead of equality.
Mm-hmm.
It kept being, for many, many decades, it has been, okay, we're going to give the Black community breadcrumbs until they stop being the open mouth little birdies. And I think a lot of the last 2 years has made people realize it's not about equity anymore. I'm not looking to have as much as you. I'm looking to be seen as equal to you. The biggest thing that I've ever argued, whether it's racial, whether it's as far as the battle of the sexes is concerned, is simply this. Equity is when you have 3 children trying to look over a fence and the 3 children are 3 different heights. Equality is they each get a box that's the same height. Equity is they get a box that's big enough for them to see over the fence.
Gotcha.
And I think when we stop accepting equity, we will start fighting for equality.
But I don't know if equality is if we're ever going to see it in our lifetime, or if it's even a real thing. And what I mean by that is a lot of the time when people want equality, if everyone was to be equal, things would be very uneven, if that makes sense. So if women want to be as equal as men, there are going to be some things that we're just not going to be able to do, right? Physically, let's just say physically. If I want to be as equal as you and pick up that brick, I may not be able to pick up that brick. I will not be equal to you. That's a small example, but that may not be a real thing. Sometimes what you really don't want is equality. You might just want a privilege. So it's very different. I don't know if what people think equality is what they really want.
Now, my argument for that is I can do things better than you. I can do some things better than you. You can do some things better than me. If we're both trying to reach towards equality, what you're better at, you can cover down for me, and what I'm better at, I can cover down for you. So it's not so much achieving equality that makes society a better place. It's striving towards equality that will make society a better place.
Okay.
So basically the opportunity for Becca to pick up that brick if she wanted to.
If she wanted to get to the point where she could.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, also in that metaphor, it's my responsibility to do everything that I can do to make sure Becca learns what she needs to learn to be able to pick up that brick. Because I already know how to pick up that brick. That's the difference.
Okay.
And I think that's what exists in Black history and in Black excellence. And that's why if everything was equal, it would be unequal. Because I do understand what Becca means by that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you, for generations, have had to do 120, 130, 200% just to be considered equal. If everybody wakes up tomorrow and is equal, okay, I'm just better at this than you are. And that's just how it is. Because generationally, I've been trained how to be better at this.
All right. Moving on. Let's see, what was the next one? So Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott was in December 1955. The Central High School was integrated in September 1957, and they were called the Little Rock Nine. This was a study group that they were in. So this group right here, it was a high school that they refused to let them in, and this was the first time that they called the National Guard. It got sent to this area, the Little Rock, to protect the Little Rock Nine, to
So
make them integrate
on campus
into high school, and it was the first time that ever happened. So that's what we just looked at, the Central Nine.
Is that picture that we normally see of that little black girl on the stairs with the book in her hand?
That was the cover of that was on the cover of Lifetime.
She's still alive, right?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Could you imagine? Just think about that, though. Just think about that. You and that as a little girl having to be escorted into a school, and that being part of history, happening so long ago. Well, not even that long ago, but just
really
still
not.
alive. But just imagine if Malcolm X was still alive. Martin Luther King was still alive. Imagine if Harriet Tubman was still alive. Could you imagine that? What they would think of how this world progressed after their thing that they did in history. Like she was a little girl just going to school. She didn't realize. She may or may not have realized. I'm sure that day she did. But
I think
so many years has passed. Like I know she's done interviews, and I would like to go back and watch them just to see her mentality is. If you did that as a little girl and looking at the way the world is now, what do you think? Was it worth it, or did we miss the mark? Like what should we do better?
Ruby Bridges, Sam said her name's Ruby Bridges. She's done interviews, but I to remark on what you said as far as had MLK lived and had Brother Malcolm lived and things like that. I don't think that the big three had MLK, Malcolm X, and the Black Panthers survived the civil rights movement. I don't think the last 50 years would have played out the way that it has.
True.
I think I think the concepts behind the Black Panthers, the original beliefs and concepts behind the initiation of the Bloods and the Crips, the original movement of Martin Luther King. I don't think, had those three not been stalled out by their deaths, I don't think the last 50 years of American history would have played out the same at all.
It would have been different. It would be a different type of dominoes to fall.
Yes.
If they
I do. I definitely believe that also, that things would have went very different.
That makes sense. All right,
or maybe the same. Maybe the same. You never know. Maybe
we never know. A lot of things happen because of those tragedies.
Yeah.
I think with the political strength that MLK had, he would have been one of the first Black senators or representatives in the South. And had that happened, that would have just like Murr said, that would have been a domino effect. And I think it would have been completely different over the last 50 years.
Would have been different. All right. So let's keep going. The death of Emmett Till, August of 1955, and this
pisses me off.
This is still talked about and still heavy.
That's because she's still alive
till today.
And they just did a movie about this, or this is recent, like I want to say a week or two ago, maybe within the last month. It's on Hulu, I want to say.
That's not what pisses me off. What pisses me off, she's still alive and yet to be punished for it. And has admitted doing it.
Right.
This was one of the first stories when I remember going to school and starting to learn about this history. This was one of the stories that really angered me as a kid, as a teenager. This was one of those stories that just, if a little bit of common sense was used, it could have easily been seen like he shouldn't be dead. But the balls of his mother, at that point, his mother was like, "Oh, what you not gonna do is play my son."
You talking about the movie Let the World See?
I want to say I have not watched it, and I don't plan to watch it. I can't visually.
Yeah, she's not even watch stuff like that.
I remember watching and hearing something about the story. The words, the actual quote, "Let the world see," is what his mother said when they said that because of the way he looked, that they should do a closed casket, and her response was no. Let the world see what they did to my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had an open casket after he had been lynched and invited media. There's actually a Lifetime Life magazine took a photo and published it of his open casket and I believe she's in frame.
Yeah, it's called the Women of the Movement, and it's I want to say it was on NBC. It premiered on ABC January 6th, so last month, and now it is on. You can watch it again on Hulu.
Hulu's got the series Let the World See. Nia Long is playing.
Okay, because I'm sure they've done this.
Plays
They've done this a few
Mammy Till
times.
Mobley.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't.
Also, I don't know if y'all watched the Lovecraft Country series,
Nope.
but there's a episode that reference to him as well in that. If you watch it and you know even if you're familiar with the story, if you pay attention to that episode, you'll know that's what they're referring to.
Yeah.
It was a kid that went away on a vacation. He had all that set up in one of the episodes of Lovecraft. All right, let's keep going. Loving versus Virginia ruling in 1958. So this was the first court battle to get approved for interracial marriages. Right here.
1960.
Yep.
Yep.
It is 2022.
Now, that
That
was
was not long
1960. The laws that she fought in that case were still on the books till 83.
Yeah.
My name's Trey. My birth was evidence of a crime in progress. Born in Petersburg, Virginia.
Yeah. You was born in Virginia, Trey?
Yeah, Petersburg.
That's what I think. That's where they was. That's where the battle was. I think,
yes,
in Virginia, because they got knocked on their door. The police went knock on their door while she was laying down on her husband's lap.
Yep.
And it was like, we need to know the nature of your relationship, because if y'all together, y'all breaking the law.
The day I was born, this month in 1980, February 8th, at the time of my birth, had anybody wanted to push the issue, my mother could have been put into a girls' home. My father could have been put in prison, and I could have ended up in the foster care system. In 1980.
That's crazy.
20 years after that case, I could have ended up in what at the time was their CPS, the foster care system. Because the laws didn't come off the books until 1983.
All right.
That's just crazy.
Let's keep going. All right. Core and Freedom Rise, May 1961. This also go with the sit-in movement and founding of SNCC, which stands for students.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
But this started real big in North Carolina. Student
Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
Yeah. So this right here was birthed the Core and Freedom Rise, where those two organizations would go have sit-ins at different restaurants, and Freedom Rise would have sit-ins on buses and trains. So they worked together. Basically, both of them had the same goal or same execution style of how to non-violently get known. But SNCC really started blowing up really big, and it spread all the way up the coast with sit-ins, where even black and whites started doing sit-ins. Go ahead, Trey. You about to say something?
And their initial meetings happened at the AG Gaston Motel in Birmingham, Alabama. And the only reason I know that is because, like I said, family history, going from family member to family member.
Okay.
And just recently, Merv, Aunt Bernadine told me that my dad was part of that. I didn't know that.
The SNC or the Core? Which one?
The sit-in movement.
Okay.
My dad.
Nice.
From my understanding, Aunt Bernadine told me that that's how he got kicked out of college, because he was part of that movement.
Oh.
I didn't know that until a few years ago. I was at Bernadine's house and we was talking about my dad, and she had said something. And I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah, your dad was part of that, and that's how he got kicked out of college." I was like, I never knew that. And now it makes sense. Now when I think about my dad and how he felt about some of these race relation issues, I can see my dad doing that. Definitely see him do it.
CORE and SNCC actually organized a lot of the beginning and all the way up to the height of the Birmingham Campaign. Or what became known as the Birmingham Campaign.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen these photos. Black protesters having water hoses turned on them, having dogs turned on them. The sit-in photos where they were pouring coffee over the top of their head, and that has been recreated many times in different movies. But that is one of the things that I learned about growing up. Not only seeking out that information once I saw my name in a history book and realized that in fact was my family that was doing that, it became a point of pride for me. So I did what I could as far as researching and researching through the family.
Okay.
So
integration of Ole Miss happened in September 1962. All right, which is Mississippi U, but they call it Ole Miss. In 1963, Birmingham Church bombed.
Yep. First Baptist.
Also in 1963, the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King.
Yep.
In 1960,
another big one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy about his speech too.
Did y'all see that picture where Mahalia Jackson is turned around looking at him, and he was trying to read off, and rumor has it that Mahalia Jackson told him, "Speak from your heart," and he stopped looking at the paper and started speaking, and that's how I have have y'all heard that?
Mm-mm.
The original speech, the original rough draft of the speech was lost to history.
Okay.
It was lost. The original copy of the rough draft was lost to history.
Okay.
A lot of what people say is the current speech that he went off at the podium has been found out to have been transcribed from audio. Okay. So what the actual speech was supposed to say isn't necessarily. It's been lost to history.
Okay.
But for I think it's the last two paragraphs of the speech itself have been confirmed as being that him speaking from his heart, not necessarily him speaking from flashcards or from the rough draft that he had.
All right. All right. So we got Civil Rights Act of 1964. July 1964. We got the Freedom Summer and the Mississippi Burning Murders in June 1964. All right, so I think when y'all mentioned earlier, so this was Mississippi Burning.
Yeah.
All right, that's that movie.
Yeah.
With I forgot his name.
That wouldn't have been possible, and something that I try to explain to a lot of people that I speak with online. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 would not have happened had it not been for JFK. Period. And it's one thing that I speak out about and speak out for.
He got assassinated in 63 or 64? JFK.
Kennedy was 63.
It
was submitted. It was in the House. It was in Congress in 63. He was assassinated, and Bobby Kennedy pushed it forward. JFK got it to Congress. Bobby got it through Congress.
Gotcha. Okay.
November 22nd, 1963 at 12:30 in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But JFK got it to Congress, and Bobby Kennedy is the one. Robert Kennedy is the one that pushed it through Congress. Had it not been for the Kennedys, I'm not sure the legislation would have gone anywhere. I think it would have died on the Senate floor.
I agree with you, and that's one main reason why he got assassinated.
Both of them.
Yeah. So all that led to this right here, Selma to Montgomery March in March 1965. There's a movie about this also. It's called Selma.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good movie.
Yeah, I was about to say it was actually a good movie.
Very good.
It was actually a good movie. That's one of the movies that even if you can't take certain Black history stuff, the violence and stuff, I think that's one movie you probably can watch.
I think a lot of Montgomery to Selma that got put into another movie, Get on the Bus. The influence that movie took from the Selma to Montgomery movie was amazing as well. So I would definitely hit both of those up.
I didn't see Get on the Bus, but I saw Selma.
Get on the Bus had a more of a modern viewpoint, looking at the actions and looking at the history of Selma. Selma covered it from a first person perspective, where Get on the Bus actually, in the storytelling of its story, had a lot of flashbacks to the ideals and the strength of Selma.
All right. Malcolm X shot to death February 1965.
Oh.
Assassinated.
Back to back, 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Voting Rights Act of 1965, August 1965. The rise of Black Power.
Yep, Black Panthers, Huey.
Black Power.
That's the original C's for the Bloods and the Crips too.
Yeah. Fair Housing Act, April 1968.
That ain't even. That's still not happening.
Yep, right. Is slumlords.
That's still not happening.
Martin Luther King. Oh, go ahead.
I think
so. Yesterday,
the Fair Housing Act. The Fair Housing Act, had it been left alone, I think would have worked. I think the ideals in the redirection of it towards projects in late 70s and early 80s Reaganomics is what derailed the Fair Housing Act.
Okay. All right. So next one on is Martin Luther King assassinated April 4th, 1968. We got Shirley Chisholm runs for president in 1972.
I think that if you go back and you read some of the accounts of that, Shirley Chisholm, Miss Chisholm was actually told that there's a possibility, and yes, there was a slim chance that she could have in fact been president.
Yeah,
but there were a lot of people in the background, and there's a
that.
lot of autobiographies that speak to this, that they understood what her percentage chance was, and they did everything they could to parade her around like a show pony instead. That was more for media than anything else.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, Garrett. Let's see. The Bach decision and affirmative action in 1978.
Here's another government program that got destroyed by politics.
Yeah. Jesse Jackson galvanizes Black voters in 1984.
I don't remember.
Huh?
I'm trying to remember what all happened.
Okay. Oprah Winfrey launched a syndicated talk show in 1986.
And Harpo Incorporated never looked back.
Nope.
Los Angeles riots in 1992.
Ooh, I see.
Get up and get down.
911 is a joke in your town. I was 12 when that happened, and I distinctly, because it was the only thing that was on TV for like 3-4 weeks. I remember that, and I remember that was the first time in my life at 12 years old that I actually felt outrage, because nobody could explain to me how it was okay that those 4 men were beating him with nightsticks, and that was justice. Okay. That was law. That was okay. That according to the courts, it was okay that happened. And that was the first time that I ever heard a sentence that I have heard far too much in my life. And that was the first time that I ever remember hearing he should have just not, if only he hadn't resisted.
Yeah. It's crazy because I was 12 as well. I remember being in middle school. And after that happened, I'm in Georgetown, which is clear across the other side of the country, right? That's East Coast. I'm on East Coast. That's all the West Coast. And I think it was a Friday. Like after the verdict and shit came out, it was a riot in Georgetown where people left school, and it was blacks versus whites. Well, blacks going against whites. Like it was a riot, and they really was. Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember them shutting down travel to Fort Bragg because I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I remember that.
All right. Let's see. 1995 was the Million Man March.
I went to that.
This is what Get on the Bus was about.
Yeah. I remember going to this, and I wasn't fully aware of my blackness at that point. I was like 14, 15. I had just started high school. I can't even tell you. Well, no. I don't even remember how I ended up there. But I remember when I went, I did not feel like, this is gonna sound bad, but I don't care. I did not feel like there was a real message given. It just felt like somebody up there talking to a bunch of people, and it looked good. It was all the pomp and circumstance. It was, black fist in the air. Everybody was dressed in all black. You was saying hi to black people you didn't know, like, hey, how you doing? Good afternoon, brother. How you doing? Good afternoon, sister. And then after that, everybody went back home and started the next day like it was a regular day. I don't remember going there and feeling like black people or black men in particular were empowered, that they were going to go home and start change. None of that. I was like, okay, it was a nice day out with a bunch of black people, like a big ass barbecue with no food.
So I think, I didn't go, so I didn't hear the message, so I can't speak on that. But I think one of the most impactful things, because at this time, by 1995, it wasn't like 1965. Between those times, there was a lot of the so-called black on black crimes and gangs and stuff like that, where we got to a point we wasn't getting along. We started killing each other, along with the system killing us, other races killing us. So the thing that I saw, to me at that age, the most impactful thing was the fact that, I don't know if they reached 1 million, but the fact that we were able to get so many of us on one accord to that area and be on the same page, no violence, and everybody was there for a positive cause that hasn't happened since the civil rights era, to me, was something that I looked at that age and at that point, because I didn't hear the speech or whatnot, what I thought was impactful.
I remember asking my father why we weren't going.
Huh?
What did you feel was impactful? No. You said you thought the message was impactful. What did you get from it?
I just said it.
You said it wasn't, or it was?
It was. To me,
Okay.
that's what I thought was impactful.
Oh, just the fact that there was no violence.
No, like you hear nothing I said just now.
I did, but maybe I missed it.
He said that the impact for him was the fact that it was the first time that many black people had been together and not been in a negative light since the civil rights movement.
Since the civil rights movement,
and that was the actual impact of significant.
I didn't hear, like I said, I didn't hear the speech, so I can't speak on that. But
oh, you did not hear the speech. Okay.
I did not hear the speech, so I can't speak on that. But me at that time, I was 15 years old in Georgetown, South Carolina. So to see that many black people, because during that time it was black on black crimes, blacks were killing each other. Like it was hard enough for us to go to a barbecue without fighting, or you know what I'm saying, throughout America. So at that point, that was the first time that many people came together and went
to see that much unity.
Yes, since the civil rights era. So to me at 15, that's what I saw as impactful.
Got it.
I can't speak on the speech because I didn't hear it. That's what I said.
Gotcha.
That happened just before I moved out west, and I remember asking my dad, why didn't we go? Because I was in Fayetteville. That was our second time in Fayetteville. But my dad, I didn't understand his reason at the time. I later found out. But his response was, we can't go because I'm not allowed to be there. And I didn't understand that. My dad was active duty. So it was one of those things where it was when stupid rules in the military law book could easily get enforced if you made the military look bad. One of those being if you're out protesting or speaking out against the government, that could be considered sedition and would have ended in 1995. Most definitely would have ended my father's career.
Okay. All right. So we go to.
I later found out and understood. Probably about 8-9 years later, I understood that.
Okay. So we go to the next timeline. Colin Powell becomes Secretary of State 2001.
I remember that. One of the two major heads of Desert Shield, Desert Storm.
Yeah.
I later how they crucified him for the War on Terror. I thought was more impactful and more eye-opening, but I do remember Colin Powell because, yeah.
All right, so we had Barack Obama becomes the 44th U.S. president in 2008.
That was a fun time.
Then we had.
I'm glad you had fun.
I say fun because it was bitter. It was a, I don't want to say a gift and a curse. But it gave a lot of children hope, right? It gave a lot of our kids the ability to say, most kids, usually aspire to be doctor, lawyer. Sometimes even kids wanted to be cops back in the day when the cops didn't, wasn't the enemy of the neighborhoods. But when Obama became president, it was like, wow, we really got a black president. And a lot of kids was like, yes, I want to be the next president. I can do that. I can do anything. I know I can be what I want to be if I work hard at it, right? So you start to have all of these ambitions. Like, okay, if we can get to that goal, then what other goals can we get to? But it was the total opposite as well. People was like hated him and didn't want him there. They fought very hard for him not to be there. And then when he got in office, they fought against everything he wanted. Black people thought he was going to save the world. And then a couple afterwards, black people was like, oh, you ain't do shit for us. It was a time to be alive. It was a time to be alive.
My memories with President Obama started in 2007 during the campaign. for lack of a better way to put it, I remember spending a lot of time in 2007, what I like to call trimming the fat off my friends list.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you.
One of my all-time favorite quotes from Maya Angelou: "When someone shows you who they are, believe them."
Right.
And that's exactly what folks did in 2007. I'm like,
Right.
Wow, that's your you feel that he just is not going to be a good president, not because and there was a laundry list of media talking points that got put out as to why he was not going to be a good president. But you just going to go straight to he is a black man in America, is not going to be a strong leader. Okay. Yeah, I think we should stop talking. Click, click, click. Bye. Bye. I lost friends. I lost family. And in 2008, when he got elected, I sat there with the biggest, ugliest smile on my face. While my first son did everything but cry in the middle of Iraq because Obama was elected president. Yeah. And as an E4 in the military, in a combat zone, dared my first sergeant to say something. Dared him to.
That's when you seen the hate really show. That's when I think the hate, I think that's when people started to really vocalize of the hate that they had. We always knew it was there. And we always saw it when he was running. But I think once he got elected is when they really, really came out with the hate. And then with Trump, it just got all overboard.
Yeah,
November 10th. November 10th, 2008. Oh yes. Everybody.
That's when the
everybody started showing out. I'm like,
Well, right. Well, this is how you felt all this time? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm your friend. Okay, yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I also messed up because I actually read the book Dear White People that year. So I had a lot of people mad at me. A lot of people mad at me.
We've had presidents that have caused a lot of drama before them, the Bushes and all the Clintons, right? But Obama, forget about it. Yeah, it was crazy.
All right, so the next timeline is the Black Lives Matter movement.
I'm still dealing with arguments.
Yeah, you got this.
I'm still dealing with arguments about this.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. Look, I'm stuck in country Missouri.
Yeah. But before you speak, because this next one falls right into it. Right after that, we had the George Floyd protests.
Here we go. This is where it starts. This is where it goes downhill from here.
Okay.
2008 to 2022. All
right. Look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this because I know this is a safe place to say this. Yes. If your ignorance extends to the point where a man can be videotaped and have someone else kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes, if your ignorance causes you to form your mouth when he has 4 human beings, a combined weight of almost a half ton sitting on his body and immobilizing him, and the first words out your mouth are he shouldn't have resisted. How the fuck is he gonna resist? That's one. 2, I'm stuck in Missouri, country ass Missouri. I have said this multiple times, and I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it until the day I leave this damn state. If the Civil War Part 2 pops off tomorrow, I already know I am behind enemy lines. If that bitch pops off, I'm gonna need the new Underground Railroad to get the hell out of here. These are arguments that I have been having almost on a weekly basis. Every time another name is etched into that wall, every time it's shouldn't have resisted. Well, he was a criminal. Well, he had this, and this from 5 years. The cops didn't know any of that shit walking through that door.
Right.
They weren't on the warrant. They weren't on the paperwork. As far as the cops knew, they weren't there. So there's no reason that they should have fired. And every argument that I have had simply put, you know what? If he was a criminal, if he had a warrant, if he, for any reason, then his ass should have been arrested, put in jail, and given a trial. They had no business being judge, jury, and execution.
That part.
And every time someone around me speaks up, that they're constantly in my halo because they're not in my friends, then damn sure not in my family. Every time somebody in my halo speaks up, and I just look at them and go, wow, so you're not gonna say a damn thing when it's me on the TV, huh? You're not gonna say a damn thing when it's me airbrushed on a t-shirt. Somebody turns me into a pair of J's. It's gonna be he shouldn't have resisted, right? All this shit about the mere lock that's going on right now.
Damn, Trey, what you do, Trey? Oh man, you should just make it home. Just make it home,
I'm still trying to figure out where the NRA is on a mere lock, present day. Somebody explain this to me.
Just make it home, Trey.
Law abiding, legal gun owner, no knock warrant, people busting into his house in the middle of the night. He goes for his gun, gets shot by cops. NRA is less than silent. Less than silent. Not only are they silent, their only response is no response.
And that is a response.
No comment has always been a response.
Yep.
You take the Fifth Amendment in court, that's still a response.
Plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
I'm tired of the fact that I actually support movements and support people that are going out there and fighting the good fight to stop people like me from ending up on a t-shirt, from having programs put out, from having GoFundMes to help bury and send them home. But the second I open my mouth where I'm at right now, that's a terrorist organization. Why haven't they been labeled terrorists? But what shuts them up real quick is as soon as they say some dumb shit like that, I'm like, gee, until the Ku Klux Klan gets acknowledged by the United States government as a race hate group, as a terrorist organization, when they have bombed buses, they have bombed buildings, they have killed hundreds of thousands of people over the last 60 years, and people still are in Washington, D.C. arguing they're not a terrorist organization. Don't talk to me about BLM. Don't talk to me. Right. Don't. You have no leg to stand on. None.
Right.
And whew.
All right. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
That's why I said, Trey,
exactly.
Empty the clip out. Trey, go empty the clip.
Hey, so you gotta get that black. You gotta get that.
I had to get a refill. No, but I feel him though.
No, for real. But so let's move on. Our last timeline. Kamala Harris becomes the first black woman U.S. vice president in 2021, which was just last year. When I put this, and I got the rest of the stuff is more. The rest of the stuff we talk about is just black excellence, with exception with them, but still part of black excellence. So I wanted to do the last Wednesday for Black History Month about Black history, Black excellence. And I was trying to figure out, what's the best way to do it. And then I saw this timeline and I knew it probably would bring up some ill feelings, but on some real shit, you look back from 1619 to the last 4 timeline events that we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
What you should get from this, the bittersweetness, or the final thing is how we have fucking really overcome so much adversity, so much obstacles, so much shit that's been thrown in our way to try to make us say fuck it, try to make us give up, to try to discourage us. And where you have, even though for show, you had a woman run for president. You had um Jesse Jackson run for president. Then we finally get a black president. Then we got a black vice president. Um,
Female at that.
female at that. And like we and it's 400. That's a lot to accomplish in 400 years because probably we'll say 300 of those years was 200 years of slavery. The other 100 years was you could still be killed even though we wasn't owned. You could still be killed without
talking about the Jim
any
Crow
consequence.
era. You talking about the
Water
desegregation fight.
hanging.
Yep.
So, like Obama had pros and cons. Kamala Harris got pros and cons. Oprah, Jesse Jackson, everybody pros and cons. But the shit that we've overcome, and we haven't made it all the way over the promised land yet. I'm just saying, we as a people have really overcame a fucking lot.
We not where we want to be, but we're not where we were.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I want to go through that timeline where we could just go boom, 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 boom to see where we started and where we currently are, the progress, and where we can still evolve to become for our kids, grandkids, great grandkids in the future.
Yeah, because our kids are definitely living in a very different world than what we grew up in.
Yes.
Very different, very different. They don't have stories. Yeah. The history that they're learning is further back history than what we learned. Because as you can see, some of the progression for us only happened 60, 80 years ago.
Right.
If we have grandparents, they actually lived during the time of those changes.
Yeah.
Our children, that's real history to them. It's going to be 100+ years before them. We still have parents who can give us those stories of when. I have aunts and uncles that can give those stories of when you could look
the Brown Bridge boy,
especially my dad in Georgetown. My dad in Georgetown could give all those stories about how it was in the neighborhood in Georgetown being very segregated when he grew up.
My family's all from Birmingham. So I definitely got them stories.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 1937. He's still alive. He's 84 years old. So,
he got stories.
I know he got stories.
Yeah.
I know he got stories. He probably got some stuff.
Merv, I'm telling you, that oral history I was talking about, make sure you get that.
I was just saying to a friend of mine that I wish I had grandparents. Like my only grandparent that I've ever known, my mom's mom, she died when I was 10. So I don't really know how it is to have grandparents. And I really wish that I had someone in my family that was 70, 80, 90 years old to really sit down and get that good old wisdom from, where they could tell you the stories of how it was when they could not step out of their house because of certain fears, to how it progressed to now they could come out of the house and they can actually live somewhat of a decent life, a life that they probably would have never thought would have been possible when they was getting dogs sicked on them and being ran down with hoses and being hung from trees and things like that. Like, slavery wasn't that far in their past. And there's some of them are still alive to tell that story. Like, that's the only thing I really wish I had was grandparents be like, what was it like when you was finally able to not have to go to the colored only bathroom? That may be like a little thing for some of us, right? But could you imagine right now, Trey, if you went and somebody put a paper bag to you and said yes or no about doing something, how that would feel? And that was your daily life, to having to go through that and to now not having to go through it at all. And you're just like, I don't even know what to do with myself.
I find myself fortunate. This is a really weird feeling. I have never felt more fortunate for having my grandfather, for having my Aunt Dell, my Aunt Honey, and my Aunt May, because they all grew up in Birmingham, about 4 miles from downtown. They grew up, they lived there, and they fought to live there, and they died living not more than 10 miles from the hospital from where they were born. And there were a lot of times when I was young that I rolled my eyes and I said, "Oh, here's another story. Here's another story. Here's another story." My grandmother, my dad's mom, Emazine, took me to meet this man when she came to visit us in Birmingham that I'd never heard about, and just an old black man sitting in a wheelchair, and he sat there and told us stories. And 4 or 5 years later, it's February and we're doing Black History Month in California, and they're talking about A.G. Gaston, and I'm like, yeah, he was a nice guy. He's like, what, 108, 109? And everybody looks at me and they're like, what do you mean he's a nice guy? Yeah, he's an old guy. He's in a wheelchair right now. And to see the significance in other people's faces when they look at you and go, wait a minute, you've met A.G. Gaston? Yeah, I met him before we moved out from the East Coast. And I've never felt so fortunate, because once again, I truly believe that the oral history from generation to generation has always been the very root of what Black history is, because the true story gets told that way. It's not filtered through the media. It's not filtered through an editor. It's not filtered so it's palatable for mass consumption. It's the actual genuine truth. And it's an amazing feeling to have those stories. And I look forward to passing them on to my son as I have been.
Gotcha. All right. So the rest of the show, we're gonna leave on a good note, talk about Black excellence, and kind of like fun facts or what you call it. All right. So this is more like informational with me telling. All right. So let's see. First one. So Mado Cj Walker was born in 1867, died in 1919. She was the first African American woman to become a self-made millionaire after creating a line of hair products geared toward Black hair. There's actually a movie about her. I forgot the name of it. Y'all remember the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
There's a movie about her. I know Beck about to Google it. Let us know. I'll go to the next.
I'm doing the same.
Madam Cj Walker. Becca, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. It was on Netflix called Self-Made.
Yep, that's it.
Ooh.
And it was good.
Mm.
It was good.
You can say whatever you want. My girl's in it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
It was good, but it did reveal something that I wasn't aware of, and I'm sure many other people wasn't either.
Don't tell it.
I won't.
Okay. All right. Next
I didn't know Octavia was in it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
All right.
Yeah, she does really good in it too.
I love her to death anyway.
Next thing is next person is Garrett Morgan. Born 1877, died in 1963. The 3-light traffic signal was invented by Garrett Morgan in 1923. With only an elementary school education, he was a Black inventor and son of an enslaved parent.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Was originally designed to speed up logistics and to stop accidents in the workplace when moving materials from one side of the factory to the other. Was built on larger scale for traffic purposes. I remember that one.
All right. All right. So Charlotte Fortin Grimke, born in 1837, died in 1914. She was an African American educator, poet, anti-slavery activist. She taught freed black slaves during the Civil War and later. She was also the first black teacher to teach at a Penn School in South Carolina. First
Mm.
black teacher to teach at the Penn School in South Carolina. All right. We got Booker T. Washington.
Booker T.
Was born in slavery but rose to be an advisor to many United States presidents and also became the director of the Tuskegee Institute.
That's dope.
Some black-owned products that you need in 2021 and beyond. I don't know what these are. Some of them I think Thrill Fitness. That's one. Another product is Art Pays Me. Another product is Glow by Day. Another product is Kid Rock. Another product is King Edward Grooming.
Go by Day is a hair product.
Another product is Convicans. And another product is Sarisha.
I'm familiar with 3L Fitness.
Okay. And
3L Fitness is it's a more holistic approach instead of having going specifically with organic made, organic grown products as far as your diet's concerned. It's a bit of a twist on the keto diet.
Okay.
But instead of some of the things that you're restricted to in the keto diet, it points you directly towards the organic and all of the powders and mixes that you get from dietary supplements and stuff. They're all organic. None of them are chemical based or like the energy powders that they put in energy drinks and stuff like that. Yeah, Real Fitness does that all with herbs and spices.
Okay.
Art Pays Me is actually a podcast. It says it helps artists use their power to improve their lives and the world by exploring the business strategies of successful creatives. So it looks like it's a business.
Oh, okay.
It's based in Canada, Nova Scotia. Dwayne Jones. It looks like.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you wanted to Google real quick, Beck?
King Edward Grooming. I don't know what that is.
I would assume that deal with hair.
Isn't King Edward Grooming the men's line? The men's hair and facial hair line?
They got facial. Oh, they do facial hair as well.
It's for beards. It's a beard.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Help get that line tight. That I was about to say.
Cold.
That sounded familiar.
Convocans. Convocans is napkins.
Oh, black-owned napkins? Black-owned product napkins?
I'm just looking up Convocans. First thing that came up was, it looks like napkins, but this advertisement don't look right. I don't know. Kimmy Couture.
Kimmy Couture started out as a influencer.
I could tell by just the name.
Yeah.
Glow by Day is hair
she started out as that's her brand after she rebranded after being an online influencer.
Glow by Day is hair products.
Yeah, she used to do what did she call?
Kimmy Couture
15-second grooming tips. She started on Vine.
Yeah, it says beauty products.
Yep.
And Shay, I don't know what that is. Shay.
Look like Kid Rock is shades for kids.
Shay and Co.
Shades and t-shirts for kids. That's what that look like.
Okay.
Named after my two kids. Was founded in 2012. Natural and organic products. Yeah, not bad. Not
So
bad at all.
and
Cool.
Yeah, I remember
and
her.
there's more to the list. I just took like about 7 or 8 of them.
Okay.
Robert Johnson was the first black billionaire, former majority owner of Charlotte Broadcasting, became the first African American billionaire in 2001. Was a was the formerly owner of BET, right? That's saying right. He left
Uh,
BET to buy Charlotte Hornets, I believe.
really?
Hmm.
I wish you
He
would have
got
stayed at BET.
Yeah, because BET now, oh my man. Um, all right,
Yeah.
24/7 ratchet.
so this right here is the five. So these are five owned companies. Um, five black owned companies that many people may not know. Well, I didn't know. Number one, and all of these companies make over $500 million a year. Each one of these make over $500 million a year. So
So
first one,
they're Fortune 5 companies.
yeah. So first one is Worldwide Technology, based in Maryland Heights, Missouri, a global IT company that serves technology needs of large public and private organizations. Founded by David L. Stewart, this company has long been the largest black-owned business and has grown to 12 billion in annual revenue with more than 6,000 employees. Even more, they have approximately 4 million square feet of warehousing, distribution, and integration space in more than 20 facilities throughout the world. And yes, they are black-owned.
Dope.
All
Worldwide
right.
Tech.
Number two, Act One Group, based in Torrance, California. This company provides staffing, human resource management solutions to Fortune 500 companies in industries from entertainment to technology and finance to biotech. Founded by Janice Bryant Howard, this company generates more than 2.2 billion a year. Not just black owned, but this is woman owned, black woman owned.
I hear
Number
that.
three, the Anderson Dubose Company, based in Lordstown, Ohio. This company provides logistics solutions and unparalleled services to the world's most elite corporations in the quick service industry. Founded by Warren E. Anderson, they have more than 400 employees and generate more than 540 million in annual revenue. Black owned. Global Alliance Automotive, based in Detroit, Michigan, this company is a global automotive parts supplier. As a worldwide group of independent representation companies, they are an adequate contemporary answer to recent major structural changes within the automotive industry. They pull in almost 520 million every year in revenue. Black owned. Number
They're
five.
also the number one employer in Detroit.
Oh, nice,
That's what's
nice.
up.
Uh,
GAA, if you've seen 8 Mile, the factory that Eminem's working at is a
uh-huh.
GAA factory.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Um, I remember those scenes very well.
Yeah.
Uh, Number five, Thompson Hospitality, based in Reston, Virginia. This company is the largest minority-owned food service management company in the country. Founded by Warren Thompson, they were recognized in 2010 as Company of the Year by Black Enterprise Magazine. They have more than 4,000 employees, and their annual revenues are just shy of 500 million. Again, black owned.
That's dope. There's
They
a lot
staff
actually
state
that's black
agencies.
owned.
All right. Um, like I couldn't do a show without talking about the Divine Nine.
Of
Yeah,
course.
so you got the Kappas, got the Omegas, AKAs, Delta, Sigma Gamma Rhos, Sigma Zetas, Divine
Iota,
Iotas, part of
founded
the
at Morgan State University.
part of the Divine. So that's Divine Nine, and these are historically black Greek organizations that was founded in the HBCUs, like we talked about earlier, with Wilberforce being the first known official HBCU. So I had to talk about that as well for our black excellence. What is this right? All right, so we'll talk about we'll talk about Black Wall Street. All right.
Mhm.
Um, let me find. All right, so fortunately, I got it on my phone. Um, because that's right there is too small, and this is
It's not too small. I can read it. Can
you
you
can
see
read
it?
that. I
Yeah.
was, I got it on my phone. I mean, I got a squint when I got it on my phone, so I can read it on my
Okay.
phone. Huh?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Black Wall Street. The history of Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was a thriving community in the Greenwood in early 1900s. This was a community that had bustling black-owned businesses, theaters, schools, social health, and a strong distribution of wealth among its middle and upper classes. Reports estimate the community had more than 10,000 African American residents, and most of them were thriving. Black Wall Street was the epitome of a self-sustaining community and strength. Black people supported each other, which allowed for easier access to resources, savings, housing, jobs, education, and health. Black Wall Street was just one of many thriving communities in the United States, but it also became a site that would serve as an example of the violence and hatred that grew out
If
of
you still
greed
you want a taco,
from white financial
how many do
interests.
you want?
All right. As Black Wall Street thrived and grew, so did greed and oil-thirsty America. In 1897, just a few years before Black Wall Street was established, Oklahoma got its first oil well. While this discovery is praised for establishing economic wealth and stability in Oklahoma during the Great Depression, it attracted scores of exploration companies in the 1920s. The oil discovery gave Black people the economic opportunities they needed. We weren't allowed to shop at white-owned stores and businesses, so the money we spent went right back into our own communities. Oil gave rise to opportunities and economic freedoms for Black people despite Oklahoma's status as segregated state. As you can imagine, envy and jealousy thrived. The thought of second-class citizens receiving better economic opportunities than their white neighbors infuriated white Oklahoma residents. They retaliated against the Black community, spreading hatred and accusing them of crimes. Many white people were full of loathing and wanted to bring Black communities down. An accusation of sexual assault was the match that ignited the smoldering hatred and resentment of the thriving Black Wall Street community. The accusation inspired a lynch mob, which included nearly 2,000 Ku Klux Klan members who wanted to get justice. Everything came crashing down on Black Wall Street on May 31st, 1921. In just 16 hours, police had arrested 60% of Black residents living in Black Wall Street. Mobs burned down Black-owned businesses and homes and murdered hundreds of Black citizens. When Black men joined forces to protect their homes, they were ultimately driven out in fear for their lives. By today's estimates, the dreadful and murderous 16 hours caused more than $30 million in damages. The residents of Greenwood were blamed for death and destruction, and the government made it nearly impossible to rebuild. But we can rebuild a new Black Wall Street now by working together. The massacre at Black Wall Street was one of the largest massacres of Black citizens in America. It is important not to forget the pride and opportunity that Black Wall Street awarded African Americans. We worked hard, built a strong community, and supported each other. Circulating Black dollars within our community and doing business with one another is critical for our community's financial and economic strength.
Where'd
But
you
like
find that article at, Murr?
I can send it to you. I googled Black Wall Street.
I'm the reason I ask is because it didn't mention at all the fact that the government bombed Black Wall Street.
Nah, it didn't. It didn't go in detail about that.
Okay.
But that was. I knew we was gonna talk more about it. Yeah.
Yeah. because that was the last time that the United States government actually ever dropped bombs on U.S. citizens.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And that's how the $30 million in damages came from.
Yep.
Dropping bombs on people.
The
Because
Oklahoma City National Guard, or the Oklahoma National Guard, purchased 2,000-pound bombs and dropped them.
Can you imagine being bombed just because you were making too much money?
No.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It wasn't bothering nobody. Just they started come up with reasons to
making too much money.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
If they were to do that now, it would be listen.
And I'm glad you said that.
Listen,
because if
we're gonna miss a lot of celebrities,
point, it wouldn't be a bomb. It'd have to be a computer virus. The fact that I'm waiting for somebody who is much smarter than I, as far as the internet is concerned, to realize that Black Wall Street can be recreated on the internet, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. Using e-commerce, using Bitcoin, using digital currency, and I really wish. I hope this finds its way on a Black Twitter, because I know there's somebody out there that is more intelligent as far as the internet is concerned that will be able to do this.
Right. Yeah, right.
Wow.
So
with the investing in Black-owned leadership, Black-owned businesses, Black-owned properties, yeah, Black Wall Street can be rebuilt on the internet.
So y'all know I said I wanted to end on a positive note. So God, don't worry, I got it though. So what you laughing at?
You not being able to read that.
So near Atlanta, they got what they call a new Black Wall Street market established last year, 2021, in Stonecrest, Georgia. All right, the new Black Wall Street market is located in Stonecrest, Georgia. It's a destination for family fun, entertainment, retail, gourmet grocery shopping, and fine dining. Set among a beautifully curated common spaces, there are over 100 plus shops and restaurants located inside this new and exciting development. As an extension of the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute, the new Black Wall Street market shares its mission to increase the size and number of minority and woman-owned businesses throughout the United States and globally. This new retail experience fosters operational excellence in these areas. So, if you look up New Black Wall Street, Atlanta, this what comes up. So Atlanta's attempting right now to recreate. It just started last year to recreate a new Black Wall Street. You looking it up, Trey?
I'm looking it up. It up, but I'm being selfish because I'm looking up Google Maps too. I ain't but so far from that.
What I'm hearing lately is that Atlanta is becoming blackety black. Like they're rebuilding Atlanta. It used to always be black, but like this new Black Wall Street and all of that they're really starting to rebuild Atlanta to kind of make it all things black, for Black music, Black history, Black fashion, Black money. They're trying to, for some reason, all of that is starting in Atlanta. There's a lot of businesses. A lot of people go to Atlanta because it's very Black versus LA, which is the opposite.
Yeah, and I mean, only other place, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, Atlanta is probably the ideal place to recreate Black Wall Street.
Where else do you think they would be able to do that at? If it wasn't Atlanta?
Well, you from up top.
Birmingham.
How black is DC? Because you from up top, so you know better than me. No,
DC is the hood. DC is more drugs than DC than anything.
So no to that. So no, not DC. Okay, so
not DC, not New York.
So
I think Birmingham
Atlanta,
wouldn't be a bad place.
Huh?
I think Birmingham wouldn't be a bad place.
Birmingham?
Yeah.
Really?
Now one thing about Birmingham,
I don't know
like
much about
a block separates the haves and have-nots.
True. But I got a question. Even a block separating the haves and have-nots. How about we do some gentrification in Birmingham for a different color?
Because they had gentrified the hell out of New York.
Yeah.
Brooklyn don't look like it used to. Like, it's not the same Brooklyn I grew up in.
Birmingham is interesting.
But they have not gentrified Atlanta.
And
Atlanta never got COVID. Like, yeah. Atlanta is in a bubble at this point.
So I can see it. I can see Atlanta definitely being a number one spot. I would definitely put Birmingham as a secondary.
Really? That's interesting. I'm familiar with Birmingham because I got family from Tuskegee and also Mobile, so I'm familiar with Alabama city.
Alabama.
Birmingham. Okay, you gonna make me look.
Being able to centralize and strengthen the black dollar in Birmingham again. I just find me a politician in Birmingham that's not going to get behind that. Find me a politician that's not going to invest in that and try to make that happen and put that on their resume to try and get the black vote in Alabama.
But wouldn't they get a lot of pushback?
If it makes dollars, it makes sense though.
But still, the others do not want black people making no dollars or cents. It don't matter.
True. But Birmingham has already done it once. We don't care. We don't care what you want to see happen with our dollars and cents. and I really think I think the mindset in Birmingham would definitely push it higher. Because I'm seeing a lot of things as I'm looking up Black Wall Street that kind of sound like just outside Atlanta type of things happening at New Black Wall Street. So a lot of people trying to invest and dip their hands in it. And yeah, I don't want to see that happen, but it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they built it up.
I just learned about it tonight when I was putting the show together. So I'm definitely I lied. My cousin is from Atlanta, and she's like real pro-black. Like she really pays attention and stuff like that. So she actually told me about it, and I looked it up and got some more details. But I'm definitely next time in the area, I'm going to check them out.
It looks like a good facility. I hope they expand. But the new Black Wall Street market at this point, it's looking like the seed has been planted there. Mm-hmm. I just want to be careful, keep a careful eye on how it grows.
Right.
And if it does, please God, don't let it. But if it does fail, I think Alabama might be able to provide either Mobile, either Birmingham, Montgomery, definitely, with how strong the black dollar is in Montgomery. I could definitely see that being a little bit more.
So let me ask you this, because just as important as the black dollar, the cities that you just mentioned, do you feel they have the black mindset? Because like Becca said in Atlanta, the black mindset is regardless, is black dollars is feeding the black dollars. Like the black community, they feed into one another and they support each other, to me, more than any other city does, as far as like black community supporting each other, feeding each other, buying from each other, supporting one another like they do in Atlanta. So do you think Birmingham and the cities mentioned will have the same mindset to be able to create a Black Wall Street that had that mindset of, we uniting to help each other, etc.?
With the fact that just downtown Montgomery has close to 2% of all businesses in downtown are black owned. With the fact that both Birmingham still sits, even with everything that's happened throughout the decades since the civil rights movement being centered in Birmingham. Birmingham still has 1/4 of all businesses in Birmingham and the surrounding city structure. All those little towns that grew into Birmingham as time, they're still sitting at about 23% of overall businesses in the area being black owned businesses, strictly black owned businesses.
Wow.
Okay.
And most of those are legacy black owned businesses. Black businesses that have been passed from father to son to father to son.
That's even more.
Parent to child, parent to child.
And that's big time because that means they're establishing that community.
And that's not even taking into account.
Yeah.
That's not even taking into account the amount of side hustles, those garage door businesses that are run rampant throughout Birmingham.
Okay.
Like you said, you got family in Alabama, right?
Yeah, Tuskegee.
Ask him how many people he knows running side hustles out of their garage in Tuskegee. I bet you'd be surprised.
Probably a few.
Because one of the things that I learned from family in Birmingham and throughout the country, because I come from a military family. Everybody's got a full-time job, but everybody's got a full-time hustle too. So that side hustle, if you can turn that side hustle into your full-time job and stop having a boss and start making boss decisions, if you take that to a place like Northern Alabama and give them that opportunity, hey, we got a place. All you got to do is show up and build your business with us in this location. I think Alabama is a very fertile ground for black business to flourish.
Okay.
I don't think that's on anybody's radar.
It's not.
That's the best part.
It's not.
It's gonna pop up out of nowhere. And if it, because of the fact that it's not on anybody's radar, they can't stop it before they can't stomp it out before it grows.
You could sneak in and make money and nobody know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the time people knows that you'd be too strong to do anything about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you would have made enough money, but you were like, all right, well now you know.
You can't push me out because I've already got my roots here.
Okay. All right, y'all. Let's that was actually everything I had. I don't know if y'all realize it, but we went through every
all 60 slides.
Oh, 60
I'm very sorry for going on a couple rants.
Oh no. Why do you think I invited you?
We gotta let you have that sometimes, Trey.
Whoo, boy. Yeah. You're right. You're right, because I damn sure had to empty that clip out. I feel so much better.
So, time to wrap up. Parting shots. Who want to go first?
I'll go first. Thank you.
Oh.
You know what? When all those slides that you posted, and even the stuff that we know from our memory, we have come a long way, right? We really have come a long way. We don't have to go to the colored water fountain. We don't have to go to the colored bathrooms. We don't have to, make sure we walk with our head down and say, don't make eye contact. Even though it's still, we got a long way to go. We've come a long way as well. One thing I do want to make sure that when we say Black excellence, and we make sure that we are proud of our Blackness, it is not to dumb down anybody else. But as you can see, that we have been a people that have been held down for a very long time. There is much evidence to show that we have a reason to celebrate at this point. We still have some more celebrating to do, but we have come a long way, and that is okay for us to say I'm Black and I'm proud, and to not be an insult to anybody else. At this point, we are still dealing with Karens and Connors that will still like to put you in a corner. But we are past those stages where we don't have to be put in a corner anymore. We don't have to be quieted. We don't have to be, told to, don't be so proud in your blackness. Those days are over. And if anybody ever tries to make you feel that way, then just shout it louder. I wore this shirt today on purpose. It says, "I am black. I am a black woman, beautiful, magic, intelligent, resilient, love, innovative, positive, influential, and unapologetic." That's me.
All right. Trey, I'm going to. I know you're the guest, but I'm going to go next,
Okay.
and I'm going to let you. After you, I'm gonna let you in the parting shots. I'm gonna do the shout outs, but as far as like the speaking, I think you should go last, especially on this topic, even though you are a guest. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I thought about this. I thought about this show like probably about a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like it's Black History Month. We have a platform that we can actually speak on Black History Month and do a tribute to Black History Month. Talk about the different topics. I've always been me personally. I know Becky be like, nah. She's like, my spirit can't take it. I can't do it. She's one of those types because I watch every Black slavery, racial movie, TV show that comes out. I watch all of it. And not so much that I enjoy it or whatnot, but I love to keep myself in perspective. I love to make sure I appreciate my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents. I love to be able to acknowledge what they went through and appreciate where I'm at, what they went through to get me where the rights or the abilities or the privileges that I have right now. So it keeps me in perspective on why we vote, why there's certain things in the Black community that's important. So 12 years a slave, roots, Mississippi burning. I watch all those to kind of keep me grounded, to remind me that yes, we've come a long way, but that really was just 100 years ago, 200 years ago. My dad's 84 years old, so I'm just one generation removed from that shit. So
Yep.
that's not something that I should forget. I should never forget. Even if I don't like, so I will always vote because people died for us to vote. People got hung for us to vote. So it's just certain rights that we've been given that sometimes I feel we may take advantage of because we didn't go through those things. So that's why I was like, yo, we have the platform where we could talk about certain things. And I knew this wasn't gonna be a high viewership podcast tonight because this is one of the topics that people don't like to hear or like to talk about. But I still feel like yo, it's important that we got a platform to talk about and speak on it. And that's why um, I want to talk about it. And that's why I did the timeline from slavery till we have a Black vice president woman, Kamala Harris, after a Black president man, Barack
Hmm.
Obama. So that's my parting shots. Just make sure we just don't take for granted what we have, and make sure you appreciate what our Black forefathers went through for us to have what we have. Trey, take us home.
First and foremost, Merv, thank you for having me on tonight. Um, I do appreciate being brought on here and getting to speak my mind and speak out on history and how I've perceived it throughout my life. In another pod, I've already explained. Um, I've gone through my life having to fight and justify my blackness. Um, this is something that I feel that that as a community we don't speak on enough. There is. I was actually really surprised in that slideshow that the only athlete we had one athlete that was spoken of, and that happens so the amount of times that happens is so few and far between when you speak on Black excellence and Black history. And I was shocked, and I appreciate that fact because the Black excellence that was highlighted tonight was Black excellence in advancement of the community, Black excellence in education, Black excellence in achievement as far as their position in the United States government, in the United States military. Um, but unfortunately, it had to be overshadowed by everything that we had to overcome to get to that point where it is considered Black excellence. Something that I have always tried to follow in not only my research of Black history, but also the research of my family history. And I spoke on it a couple times tonight. In A.G. Gaston was one of those beacons of light in my life. And one quote that always sticks with me from him was, "We can't fight and beg from those we fight at the same time." You can't fight someone for your excellence. You can't fight somebody for your equality and then beg for handouts from them. You're gonna have to get up. You're gonna have to motivate yourself. You're gonna have to motivate your community. And on that, another quote from him is, "Money is no good unless it contributes to something in the community." Your money is doing absolutely nothing to advance who we are as a community, who we are as a people, if you're not spending it in places like the new Black Wall Street, if you're not spending it in Black-owned businesses, if you're not investing in Black-owned companies that are online or local.
Yeah.
I have fought too hard in my life to be considered Black, to have somebody try to take that away from me. And something that I appreciate this podcast, every single one of you, is the fact that there was no questionnaire. There was no, well, did you go through this? It was, hey, we want you on. We want to hear your voice too. And the fact that we're all provided that platform is an amazing thing to me. And hopefully, with the number of people that are out there doing this, it will become a moment 10, 15, 20 years from now, the internet revolution of the unity of Black voices will be something that's brought up on somebody else's slideshow. And I appreciate history for what it is, but if you do not fight for history in the moment, it will never be history.
That's true.
So that's my parting shot.
Thank you for
All
that.
right.
Trey.
Shit, you got some gems on them. Drop some gems on them. God
Right.
damn.
We need a gunshot sound effect.
That motherfucker made me look up to the sky about 3 times. Like, damn, that was profound.
Go back and watch it and then write it down, Murph.
Hey, shit, for real. God damn.
That boy is smart.
Hey, that's why I let him take his own home back. You feel me?
That boy good.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all coming on and help me to execute this vision that I had, and everything I thought about, y'all brought it to life. Y'all brought everything to life of how I thought about this podcast to go. So give shout outs to Sean Stacks, Mark, Tina B, Mel, Nick J, Sam, all in our comments. People that follow us and that's watching us that we don't know that's watching us. Our Facebook podcast group. Um, Blackjack TV channel 199, 198, Zingle TV, Mile High Radio Station, Blast Music. Also some of sponsors that we work with behind the scenes. Everybody that's watching us, supporting us, and helping us.
Facebook Live, YouTube.
Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Um, everybody
We
that's everybody
Yo,
that's
word of
helping
mouth.
us achieve Black excellence. Everybody that's helping us and supporting us to achieve Black excellence. We thank y'all. Salute again, Black History Month, and the so-called Black History Month is ending, but Black History excellence will continue to strive forever.
As it always has.
And on that note,
Peace,
we
y'all.
out. Peace, love, and happiness.